Thank you for coming to the Amber Shows. Can you do me a favor? After you see my videos, would you please press the thumbs up for you liked it, or hopefully you liked it and you don't press the thumbs down. I really appreciate your support, and I would love for your comments. If you want me to talk about something, let me know. If you're interested in learning about something, let me know and I'll research it for you. So what I want to start off with today, which I think is going to be a really good show, I want to talk about slavery. Slavery, it was a ritual, okay? So the rape was considered the humiliation. The lynching was the blood sacrifice. The new names that they gave us was the detachment from our ancestral roots. The torture was the psychic attack. The biblical brainwashing, that's the loss of our real spiritual power. Slavery was a spell, and it just bred dysfunction. We as a community are currently still hemmed in it, and the most evil, the most deadliest crime ever committed in America was slavery. These crimes were committed by the same people who make the laws, and they're still making the laws today. So when we see injustices, we know this is why. This is their country, their laws. The meaning behind a sunset or sundown, a town. Have you ever heard of that? Like, you better get in, not before the streetlights come on like your parents told you, but it's kind of like that. But the meaning behind sundown or sunset town was a town or a city or a neighborhood in the United States that actually excluded non-whites after dark. So the term sundown came from the signs that were actually posted, and they were stating that people of color, they had to leave town by sundown. And in most cases, the signs were placed at the town's borders, which actually read, "Nigger, don't let the sun set on you here." Okay, so officials, a town policy agreed, and real estate agencies actually participated in the community. Also, the whole thing was actually, the policy was enforced by intimidation, harassment, and violence. The police went along with it. The neighbors went along with it. We have been treated like cattle, like non-humans, since they brought us over here, and this is 2017, the 21st century. I believe that our diets and our old ways, the way people are raising their children, it's what's really making our children be left behind by this super fast tech world. We're busy with made-up holidays, eating genetically modified foods. We're watching twerk videos and just eating and living a life that is not sufficient to what will make us get better, what will make us become better people, become more successful in life. We're living a real material lifestyle nowadays. People are having, even, have you seen the gender reveal parties where they're having parties where they want to tell you what the pregnant mother is having? They have these big, huge productions nowadays, which is just a waste of money. Instead of putting that money into a bank account for your child's education, instead you're having big gender reveal parties where you can just tell a person what you're having. But nowadays everybody wants to please, and they want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Everybody wants to impress other people. And you got to stop living, it used to be called keeping up with the Joneses. But now it's just, you want to be the Joneses, and you'll do anything to be the Joneses, even go in debt, and teach your children all the wrong things. You're still teaching them all the things that they taught us, which was not right. Christopher Columbus did not discover America. The Indians were not the bad guy, where the cowboys came and saved you from the Indians. Eating genetically modified food, dead animals every day, celebrating holidays that are not real. These are all things that we're constantly perpetuating, passing down the line, when we're being left behind in schools, and in the tech world. And as I told you yesterday, if you have a job that can be replaced, you're going to be replaced. I think we need to really take a page out of the Japanese, the Orientals. You see how they excel? They excel because they put their children, they're not celebrating holidays and running around with gender reveals. They are teaching their children technology, engineering, everything that is progressive, even learning other languages for this new world that is coming about right now. So I have a friend, right? He's Japanese and he has a 1-year-old daughter. And these are some of the things that we should take notice of. What they do when the child turns 1 year old, they invite the family over instead of this big elaborate 1-year-old birthday party that these parents do. And the child's not gonna remember, and the parents are only just drinking, eating, and celebrating themselves. So instead, what they do is the child is either just about walking, or even definitely crawling at 1 year old. Instead of a huge birthday party that the child's not going to remember, what they basically do is they celebrate a tradition that's called Ira, E-R-A, Bit, B-I-T, Ori, O-R-I. And Iri, Bit, Ori, it's a special game to see what your 1-year-old child will choose. And when they choose the things that you put on the floor, whatever the first thing they touch, that's where they feel like their fate may lie later on, and what you should expound on with that child as they begin to grow. So in other words, on the floor they'll put, or on a mat, wherever you want to put it, but you'll put, first thing you'll put some money or a wallet on the floor. You put a medical kit, which could be a thermos, a thermometer, or if you have a emergency kit or whatever, you put that on the floor. So you got your money in your wallet, you got a medical kit, you got scissors, you got a measuring ruler, a spoon and a fork, a dictionary, ball or shoes, and a musical instrument. Okay, so now when the child when the child walks over to it, or stumbles over to it, or crawls over to it, the first thing they touch of those items, they believe that that's the child, that's their fate. They've touched what you should encourage that child in that direction to see if that's their calling. So if they touch the money or the wallet, they'll be blessed with abundance of wealth and prosperity. If they touch the medical kit, they'll possibly be a doctor or a nurse. If they touch the scissors, they'll be skillful with their hands. They could be a surgeon, or be in fashion or architecture. If they touch the ruler, then they're methodical. They probably own a big house one day. They're interested in real estate or property or land. If they touch the dictionary, they'll be excellent academically. They'll have extensive knowledge throughout their life, wanting to read, learn, constantly always trying to better themselves as far as mentally. If they touch the balls, they say they'll be an athlete. Or if they touch the musical instrument, then they will probably be a musician. So just doesn't mean that that's what they're going to be, but that's the first thing that they touch at 1 year old, which you never know that fate is leading them towards that. So those are things that you can expound on with your child, and that's what they do. I'll give examples of fathers who did that, or parents who did that, or mothers who do that. If you have a child that shows interest right away, and when you're playing music for them, then keep playing the music, see if they learn how to sing, then buy other instruments for them to play with, and begin to learn early, because your mind is a sponge at that age. So you can get drums or a musical instrument and hand it to a little child, and they will can run with it. You never know. It's innate. It could be innate in them. Look at Michael Jackson's father, Joe Jackson, brought home those guitars, had those kids singing, and he turned them into stars. And then you had Serena Williams' dad they put a racket in their hands. Serena and Venus' father put a racket in their hands, and they're the greatest of all time. The same with Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods' father took him on a golf course. You have to find what that child's niche is and bring it out instead of just handing them an iPad or your phone when you don't want to be bothered with them, so they can just play games all the time and listen to the shark song. They learn the shark song, so you know they can learn everything else. Maya Angelou, same thing. She was giving books. I used to give my nieces and nephews and family members diaries to write. I'm a writer, learned to write, and to this day they're all grown, and they'll come to me right now and tell me they appreciate me giving them writing skills, and they were able to express themselves, and many graduate from college in journalism and things like that. So make sure that instead of just going around living your life day to day and living the lives that we've been taught, that we begin to teach our children the truth, and also travel with them if you can afford it. Even if you can't afford to go away, take them to the museums, Black History museums. Take them to know anything that you can get your hands on to tell about our history, where they came from, that they are kings and queens, that we are the original man. We have come from the motherland. We are the creators. So that they will begin to learn more about our history, our stories, and our lives. Not just Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are not the only people that they should be learning about in school. Computers are very important. If they're going to be on their iPads and they're going to be on their phones, have them on sites that are in science, learning about science, learning another language, learning anything but Baby Shark. I want to say this too. Death by stoning was sanctioned yesterday by the Sultan of Brunei. He is worth $20 billion. He's the leader in Brunei. He has sanctioned death by stoning for all gay people and for anyone that has committed adultery. And this is the 21st century, so that's really a bad thing that's going on for people. Because a lot of gay people, they were born that way. They can't help it, because they can't help it, because if they could help it, who would want to be constantly criticized, beat up, and treated badly because of their sexual preference? And adultery is wrong, of course, but it happens. But to be killed over it, I think is very antiquated. But anyway, the Sultan of Brunei, he owns the Beverly Hills Hotel and 9 other really expensive hotels, high-end hotels in California, in Beverly Hills. So Ellen DeGeneres, George Clooney, Elton John, they're asking people to boycott those hotels. Those rooms start at $1,000 a day. Okay, I want to also tell you about there's 6 things that kill the penis. Okay, you want to know? Okay. 1 is sugar. It affects the body's testosterone production, and it makes it tougher to get it up. Okay, can't get it up if you got a lot of sugar in you. Inadequate sleep also is essential to testosterone levels. Alcohol lowers the testosterone levels. Running too much. Actually, if you run more than 40 or more miles a week, it can definitely lower your testosterone levels. Also, spending too much time indoors also lowers your testosterone levels, because you need vitamin D. And vitamin D is very important. That's why I come out all the time, because vitamin D is what helps you not get cancer. I don't know if you know about that, but you gotta look it up. You need your vitamin D in your body. When you go to the doctors, always ask your doctor when you have your physical to check and give you your levels for vitamin D. Soy, which is not good for you at all anyway, it creates mucus as well, and so does the dairy. So according to a Harvard Medical School, research does say that the penis will go down with soy as well. So try and don't do those things. Okay, don't let people guilt you into not visiting them. Just a little advice, because they're not visiting you either. So don't let them guilt you out of, well, why you never come to visit me? Well, why you never come to visit me? And also, jealousy will leave you hating on someone that you should really be learning from. So stop hating. Stop hating. And also, we take health advice from people who actually profit from you being sick. So try and go back to healthy living, and then if something is wrong with you, try and see and research other areas rather than prescription drugs, unless you just have to take the prescription drugs. But if you don't, look for what God gave us, and that is fruits and vegetables. Those are our real medicines. I was asked by my niece, one of my nieces, to talk about Nipsey Hussle. She wasn't really familiar with him. I had learned about Nipsey Hussle from a while ago. It's been quite a few years, because he was one of the first people who started out making mixtapes in the rap game, and he was selling his mixtapes out of his trunk of his car for $100 a piece, and he wasn't even well known or anything, but it showed how he valued himself. It's really important how you value yourself. Don't devalue yourself. Always start out high. And that's what he did. And he was selling them. You know why? Because of curiosity. People were like, wow, this mixtape is $100. I never even heard of him. They were buying them. Jay-Z was so impressed with his marketing skills that he bought 100 of his tapes for $1,000 a piece. You know, you have to value yourself, and that's what he did. When he did do that, he became well known in the community, and he's from Compton, and which is it's like one of our ghettos, like, Harlem, Detroit, East Side, West Side, the communities that we live in that they considered ghetto because they owned the properties and they weren't keeping them up. And when I say they, I'm saying white people. They actually abandoned a lot of the areas where we ended up, they were calling them ghettos. They abandoned them because black people were beginning to move in, and then white people wanted to move further and further and further and further out. So it's important that you learn all that you can learn and live your best life. Nipsey Hussle did that. He stayed in his community instead of being like most people that start getting money. They want to move out, like the white people want to move out. They want to get out of the ghetto. They don't want to help the kids in the ghetto. They don't want to help, supply needs to people in their communities. This is what he did. He stayed in Compton, off Crenshaw Boulevard. He made money. He, and if you look him up, you'll see a lot of his videos where he talks about 50 Cent had taught him back in the day how to invest his money, like how 50 did with the vitamin water. That's where he really came off, when he sold that vitamin water. Get into legalities. He also, Nipsey Hussle, opened his own clothing store right there in the ghetto of Compton. He knew all the kids in the community. He knew the people in the community. He actually opened up food banks for people in the community, for mothers, children, was feeding them, clothing them. He never would catch them with big, huge pieces of jewelry on, and diamonds, and in Rolls Royces, and all those things he could afford. Big mansions. He wasn't about that. He was about trying to uplift those that were down. It's nothing like being somewhere and everybody around you, your whole village, is thriving as well. So, and this is what he did. So this is why he's getting so much respect. He got crazy respect in Detroit. People were outside celebrating his life. In New York, they were outside celebrating his life. Jay-Z just recently, yesterday, set up a $15 million trust fund for Nipsey Hussle's 2 children. He was sort of like a 21st century Tupac, where he was trying to enlighten everyone in his community and around the world, black people. He was interested in us learning and knowing where we came from, being proud of where we come from, and making ourselves financially independent from the white man. And I know that's like almost practically impossible because none of us own anything. We don't own the banks, the mortgage places, the light company, the water company, the land. So we don't even own our own toilet paper line. And you got to have toilet paper. So this is what Nipsey Hussle was about. He was a philanthropist, he was a rapper, he was a great father to his 2 children. He was married to Lauren London. She was the actress from The Game. That's where you would know her from basically, but she was in other things too. Everyone from in the entertainment business, from Jay-Z to 50 Cent to, I can't name, I mean, Kevin Hart came out and spoke about him. I mean, everybody is talking about what a great guy this was. So he was here only for a short while, like we all are. Even if you die at 100, when you get to be 99, you're still not ready to die, you know? So it seemed like a short time because time goes by fast. And the only way out of this life is to die. So let's live our life as best we can, teach the next generation so that we can be where we are supposed to be. It says in the Bible that the original man will reign again, and that is going to happen whether we see it or not. Thank you for coming to the Amber Shows. Please press the finger up button, the like button, give me comments, tell me if you want me to talk about certain things or expunge on certain things, and I'll be glad to do it. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Peace, love, soul, prosperity.